So, welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily News in Shorts. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's newspaper or important current affairs in that day's newspaper in a very short span of time within 20 minutes. Now, the day's current affairs that we are going to cover today in today's lecture are going to be August 28, 2024's current affairs. All right. And the important news items that featured in August 28, 2024's newspaper are as following. So let's take a look at the topics of the day or topics that we need to cover as civil services aspirants. Look, the basically 28th August newspaper actually covered a lot of topics. It had a lot of news items, but for us civil services aspirants, we need to focus only on these four items. Okay, so first topic is upgrade in weather forecasting by IMD. So IMD is going through an upgrade. Government of India has said that we need to upgrade Indian Meteorological Department so that our weather forecasting and weather prediction becomes more efficient. Okay, so what is this all about? We'll talk about this. Then we'll talk about the recent international event that happened in France. The CEO of Telegram, Pavel Durov, he got arrested, and it has basically erupted a geopolitical controversy because at one point of time Pavel Durov was a Russian citizen. Now he's a French citizen as well as a UAE citizen. Okay, but Russia is quite angry with this action from French government. French government actually arrested him. And plus, many freedom of speech activists are accusing French government of trampling on freedom of speech. So we'll take a look at this news item as well. Then on September 9th, GST Council meet is going to happen, and the topic that is going to be discussed in this meeting, GST Council's meeting, would be regarding rate rationalization, GST rates rationalization. So what is rate rationalization? What is GST Council? We'll talk about this. And in the end, we'll talk about humanoid skull designed by ISRO for Gaganyaan unmanned mission. Okay, so let's tackle all these four topics one by one, starting with topic number one, which is upgrade in weather forecasting. Okay, so the government is learned to be planning a major upgrade of IMD's existing weather forecasting capabilities. Okay, IMD has been regularly upgrading its technological capabilities for better weather forecasting. Okay, in the past 10 years, IMD's ability to make long range predictions over broad regions has improved significantly. Plus, the last major push towards upgradation came in 2012 in the form of monsoon mission. So Government of India launched monsoon mission in which various scientific capabilities of IMD were enhanced so that long range monsoon forecasts could be made more accurately by Indian Meteorological Department. But in the recent times, IMD has failed in making certain precise predictions. Okay, though IMD's predictions have been bang on in many cases, in most cases, and public trust in IMD's predictions has also increased. IMD has been able to predict tropical cyclones very accurately, heat waves very accurately. Okay, so IMD has been able to predict various weather phenomena quite accurately, but still there has been some lacuna because in some cases, IMD actually failed in making accurate predictions. And that is why Government of India decided that another major upgrade is required in IMD's capabilities of weather forecasting, early warning, so that disasters can be prevented. Okay, makes sense? So why is there a need for the upgrade? Okay, let's talk about this. Now look, currently IMD has the ability to forecast weather events over a 12 kilometer by 12 kilometers. So 12 kilometer square, okay, area. So in a 12 kilometer square area, IMD's ability to forecast weather events is quite accurate. But IMD is actually planning to reduce that to 3 kilometer square and even 1 kilometer square. And why is that? Look, most cities in India are not bigger than 12 kilometer square. So because IMD is accurate only in this area, so at times IMD is unable to predict which area of a particular city would get which type of weather event. Okay, that is why IMD is trying to reduce their forecast area. Okay, because sometimes in 12 kilometer square area, various villages and a city comes. Okay, now what happens is IMD forecasts that this area is going to receive a flood, but that flood only affects the villages and not the city. That happens. Why? Because IMD's accuracy capability is only till this area. So IMD wants to enhance its accuracy capability to this and even till this level. so that different parts of the city, weather events in different parts of the city, small parts of the city, can also be accurately predicted. Okay, so that is why IMD wants to go for a major upgrade. Then we also need some better equipments. Okay, better and more equipments. So not just quality, but we also need more quantity of scientific equipments which would enhance infrastructure. So infrastructure, better infrastructure in terms of earth observation satellites, ocean observation systems, then Doppler radars. Plus, Doppler radars are not present or are not present in the desired quantity in eastern and northeastern regions, and that is why IMD is unable to make fairly accurate predictions in northeastern region of India or eastern region of India. So there is a reason for getting more Doppler radars in eastern and northeastern regions, and that is why this major upgrade is required. Plus, main thing that is required is we need to upgrade and update India-specific weather models. See, what weather models do is weather models actually allow for prediction. These are prediction models. Now, mostly the weather prediction models that we use are borrowed from the West. But India has a different weather, different climate, different scenario, different circumstances, right? So we need India-specific weather prediction models. And that is what IMD is going to work on. Okay. By the way, over here, you can see in this picture, right next to this text, is the comparison between IMD's infrastructure capabilities in 2014 and 2024. So IMD had 675 weather stations. Now it has almost double. Then it had this many rain gauges. It has more rain gauges. It has Doppler weather radars up to 15 in 2014, and now it has 39. So IMD has been increasing its equipments or infrastructure weather observation capabilities or weather observation infrastructure. In the past 10 years, between 2014 and 2024, I am considerably improved in terms of scientific observation instruments. Okay. Plus, in 2014, IMD did not have a supercomputer dedicated to weather prediction. Now it has two. Weather satellites were only one. Now we have three. So IMD is slowly upgrading, but there is further need for improvement. There is room for improvement, and these are the three factors that show that there is a need for improvement. All right. Okay. Now let's move on to a more controversial news, international controversy wise. This is Telegram CEO arrested. Authorities in France have arrested Pavel Durov, the co-founder and CEO of Telegram, for allegedly allowing a wide range of crimes due to lack of moderators on Telegram app and lack of cooperation with the police. See, French authorities have alleged that a lot of criminal activities are going on the Telegram app. Various communication between drug peddlers, people involved in drug trafficking, people involved in human trafficking, people involved in child pornography, they are able to exchange messages on the Telegram app. And when the police contacts the Telegram authorities or people working at Telegram, Telegram people do not cooperate with the police. Now, Telegram says that we are trying to protect the privacy of its users. This is a private app and it actually protects data privacy, user privacy. But French police says that in the name of user privacy, Telegram is allowing a lot of crimes to be perpetrated on their app. Okay? In that way, French authorities have said that in this sense, Telegram is complicit in these crimes. So Telegram is actually, by allowing these crimes, Telegram is complicit in these crimes. So Telegram CEO was arrested. Okay? Now Telegram is a very famous, you guys also know it. We share our notes on this app. The notes, the PDF files for this lecture as well as our other lectures. We share that on our Telegram app. So Telegram is a fairly used app. In fact, it was founded in 2013 by Pavel and his elder brother Nikolai, and today it has more than 1 billion users worldwide. It is headquartered in Dubai and it is funded personally by Pavel Durov. Now, Durov is a dual French citizen and Emirati. Yeah, that means he's a citizen of UAE. Okay, but because he's a French citizen also, French authorities have found grounds to arrest him. Had he not been a French citizen, maybe French authorities could not have arrested him. Okay, though some people say that he still retains his Russian citizenship as well, because in 2013 he moved away from Russia. He was a Russian, he is actually a Russian, and he came out of Russia in 2013-14. And he says that he's not a citizen of Russia any longer, but people allege that he's still a Russian citizen. Also, Russia is quite angry with this step from France. Russia is angry, and many free speech activists, including Twitter CEO Elon Musk, They are saying that French authorities are trampling on freedom of speech. Now, what are the charges against Durov? Preliminary charges against Durov relate to complicity in managing an online platform to allow illicit transactions by an organized group. So, illicit transactions like drug trafficking, terrorism, cyber stalking, child pornography are going on, and Telegram is not stopping it. Telegram is refusing to cooperate with the police also. Now, Telegram says that its high degree of privacy is the reason why we are not cooperating with the police, because we won't share our users' data with the police. But police authorities say that in the garb of privacy, they are allowing user to commit these crimes. Okay, so it has become a huge controversy internationally. Then we'll move on to our third news item, which is rate rationalization by GST Council. So the upcoming GST Council meeting on September 9th will discuss rationalization of rates on several items, but a decision regarding any rate change will be taken in subsequent meetings. Okay. Now, rate rationalization basically means changes in GST rates on different items. So a pen would have a different changed GST rate. Health insurance would have a different GST rate. So GST Council is actually working on changing GST rates. Okay, and this is called rate rationalization. Okay. Now, the concern for rate rationalization is that government actually wants to maintain revenue neutrality before changing GST rates. Now, what is revenue neutrality? What is rate rationalization? And what is compensation cess? I have included this news item to make you familiar with these three terms. Okay? Because questions from these three terms might be asked. So let's take a look at these three terms. So what is rate rationalization? It deals with changes in GST rates for different items with the aim of simplifying GST tax structure and enhancing revenue. So the aim of the government is to change GST rates in such a way that GST tax structure is simplified. It is easier on taxpayers. It is beneficial for the society, as well as GST revenue for government authorities increases. Okay. Now, what is revenue neutral rate? Revenue neutral rate is that tax rate which actually does not change the revenue gotten by, or the revenue that government authorities would get. It is that rate of tax which does not change the amount of revenue received by the government. Which means, let's suppose a pen had a GST rate of 5%, okay, and a cess of, let's suppose, 5% again. Now, the government wants to change it to 12%. Okay. Now, the idea is that the tax rate on pen should be such that the revenue received from taxing pens at 5% and 12% remains the same, or there is no reduction. So change the rate so much so that revenue does not change. If the government is receiving 2,000 crores in revenue, for example, at one particular rate, at X% rate, it should receive not less than 2,000 crores at Y% rate. Then Y% would be revenue neutral rate. Okay. And what is compensation cess? Look, whenever you pay GST, you also pay a cess, which is known as compensation cess. Okay. This compensation cess is collected by the central government to compensate the state governments for the loss of revenue caused by changing to GST. Because states earlier had a different tax regime, then they shifted to GST, but states complained that they would actually face loss of revenue because of shifting to GST. So government said, whatever loss you are facing because of shifting to GST, we'll compensate for that. And where will the money come for that compensation? A compensation cess would be levied. Now, this compensation cess would be levied till March 2026. Okay, but GST Council would take a decision on that too. All right. Now, questions might be also asked regarding GST Council. Okay, so GST Council came with GST Act, and to enroll GST, government had to amend the constitution through 101st Constitutional Amendment Act. Now, this inserted Article 279A in the constitution. Now, Article 279A says that the president shall constitute a GST Council, which will decide on all the GST rates. So basically, GST Council is the highest decision-making body for GST, and it is a constitutional body. Now, it is a joint forum for center and states. Its membership includes Union Finance Minister and finance ministers or other representatives from different state governments. So, central government's Union Finance Minister and state government's finance ministers are generally the members of GST Council. Union Finance Minister is the chairman also. So, Nirmala Sitharamanji is also the chairman of GST Council. Alright, their main aim is to make recommendations on changes related to GST. Now, every decision in GST Council is taken by a vote, and that vote should be minimum 75%. So it doesn't, GST Council's decisions are not passed through 50%, minimum 50% vote. You have to take at least 75% of the votes to pass a decision. Now, center has 1/3 vote weightage and states have combined 2/3 vote weightage. Okay? So this is the information that you need to remember regarding GST Council because MCQs might be asked related to this. All right? Now let's shift to topic number 4, which is humanoid skull designed by ISRO. So ISRO's uncrewed Gaganyaan mission. Look, Gaganyaan mission is a crewed mission where we'll send astronauts. But before we send astronauts, we are actually trying to test our spacecraft by sending a robot. That robot is called a humanoid or half humanoid. That humanoid is named Vyomitra. So Vyomitra is being tested in 2025. First we'll send Vyomitra, and then along with Vyomitra in the next mission we'll send our 3 astronauts. Okay. Now Vyomitra's skull has been made by ISRO's Inertial Systems Unit in Vikram Sarabhai Space Center in Thiruvananthapuram. So remember that Vyomitra was created by ISRO's Inertial Systems Unit in Vikram Sarabhai Space Center in Thiruvananthapuram. This trivia should be remembered. Okay. Now, what are humanoids? These are human-like robots. Okay. Now, why did ISRO feel the need to create this robot? Because next year, Gaganyaan mission is primarily designed to be a technology demonstration for Vyomitra. We want to test how this robot will fare in space. It will see the half humanoids use its robotic arms to perform operations at the crew console, visually monitor various systems, and communicate with Earth-based systems. ISRO will evaluate the performance of the robot's technology to measure its impact when this Vyomitra will travel with actual astronauts, living beings. Okay. Now, about this skull, some information. This skull is made up of a lightweight alloy of aluminium called ALSI 10Mg. Okay, it is lightweight, heat resistant, mechanical properties are there. It is quite compatible with additive manufacturing, and additive manufacturing is a technique used in 3D printing. So this skull can be in future 3D printed. Okay. And with that, we conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I hope it has added value to your preparation, though it would add more value if you're regular and consistent with this lecture series. So on the hope that you're regular and consistent, I'll be signing off. Thank you so much, everyone. And I'll see you next time with August 29th's Current Affairs. Thank you.